Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, let us take a look into add component annotation. Well, add component annotation indicates that an annotated class is a Spring Bean or a Spring component. Well, add component annotation tells Spring container to automatically create a Spring Bean. Alright, so in annotation based configuration, we can use add component annotation to tell Spring IOC container to automatically create a Spring Bean for a particular class. Alright, so basically Spring offers three kind of configuration styles. First one is XML based configuration, second annotation based configuration, third Java based configuration. And this add component annotation is used in annotation based configuration. Alright, perfect. Now let's go ahead and let's understand more about add component annotation with an example. So let me first create a project using Spring Initializer. So go to browser and just type start.spring.io, and here let us fill up the project information and let us download this project and let us import in a IntelliJ IDEA. Well, here we have different types of projects, so let us choose Maven over here and let's keep Java language as selected, and here let us choose Spring Boot version 3.0.2, and here let us fill up the project metadata. Let's give group as net.javaguides. Well, you can give any group that you want. Next, let us give artifact as Spring Annotations. Next, project name is same as artifact. Next, description demo project for Spring and Spring Boot Annotations. Next, let us give package name as net.javaguides.spring annotations. Next, packaging jar, and let us select Java version 17. Next, as of now, don't add any dependency because Spring Initializer will add a default dependency. For example, if you go to Explorer and go to pom.xml file, and you can able to see here Spring Boot Starter. So this dependency internally add Spring Core dependency. Alright, so as of now, we need a Spring Core dependency to explore Spring Core related annotations. Next, close this and go ahead and click on generate button to generate this project as a zip file. Next, open this zip file in a folder. Next, just unzip this. Alright, next open the IntelliJ IDEA and open this project in IntelliJ IDEA. So click on open and go to the location where your Spring Boot application is present. In my case, it is in downloads folder. Select the project, click on open. Well, this will import Spring Boot project in IntelliJ IDEA. Next, let me demonstrate the usage of add component annotation. Well, add component annotation indicates that the annotated class is a Spring Bean or a Spring component, right? So let us create a class and annotate that class with add component annotation so that Spring IOC container will create a Spring Bean or a component for that class. Okay, so let's go to project, expand this src folder, go to main package. Within this main package, let's create one more package and let's call it as controller. Within a controller package, let's create a class. Let's give a name as pizza controller. Alright, next within this pizza controller, let's create a simple method public. Let us give string as a return type and let's give method name as get pizza. Next, this method returns some dummy string. Let us say hot pizza. Perfect. Next, we want to make this class as a Spring Bean or a Spring component. So let us go ahead and let us annotate this class with add component annotation. Well, this add component annotation tells Spring IOC container to automatically create the Spring Bean for this class and manage that Spring Bean. We don't have to create object of this class manually using new keyword. Spring container takes a control to automatically create the Spring Bean and manage that Spring Bean for us. Alright, so Spring IOC container is also called inversion of control, right? Because Spring container takes a control to automatically create the objects and manage those objects for us. Next, let us go ahead and let us test this change. Well, in order to test this change, we will create an instance of Spring IOC container and then we'll retrieve this pizza controller Spring Bean from the Spring container, and then we'll call its get pizza method, and this get pizza method returns hot pizza dummy string. Alright, so let's go to main 80 class over here and go to main method, and within main method we have a run method called. So this run method returns the application context object. Well, basically application context acts as a Spring IOC container, right? And the pizza controller Spring Bean is already there in a Spring IOC container. So let us go ahead and let us retrieve the pizza controller Spring Bean from the IOC container. So here let's have a Java 10 var type, and then let's give variable name context. So this is basically a configurable application context object. So this object provides get bin method to get the particular bean from the IOC container. Alright, so here context, it has get bin method, and notice here there are multiple overloaded get bin methods. We can use appropriate method to get the Spring Bean. Now let's use this second get bin method. It takes class type, okay, and just pass pizza controller as a class type here. And next let us take the result of this get bin method in a pizza controller variable. Perfect. Next let us type system.out.println. So here is a shortcut, just type sysout and hit enter. So IntelliJ IDEA will give sysout statement, and then pizza controller, it has a get pizza method. Okay, now we have retrieved pizza controller Spring Bean from the Spring IOC container using get bin method. Next let us run this program, and there we go. You can able to see hot pizza is printed in a console. It means the class which we have annotated with add component annotation is working as expected. Alright, so Spring IOC container created the object of this pizza controller class, and it managed that object, and we have retrieved that object by using get bin method over here. Well, one more important point is, by default Spring container will give name to the Spring Bean as a class name, but the first letter of the class name in a lowercase. Okay, and we can also explicitly give a name to the Spring Bean by passing value to this add component annotation. For example, let's say we want to give a bean name pizza demo. So this is the Spring Bean name for this Spring Bean. Next we can retrieve Spring Bean by using this name. For example, let me copy this bean name and go to main point class, go to main method, and here we have used class type to get the bean. Now let us use bean name to get the bean. Next we need to provide a casting. Alright, next let us run the program, and there we go. It is working as expected. Alright, so this is how we can get the Spring Bean by using bean name as well. And by default, if we don't specify the bean name, then Spring IOC container will provide a default name to this bean name as a class name, but the first letter of the class name is in lowercase. For example, here let me remove this bean name and go to again main method, and here let me pass the default bean name, that is pizza controller, and look at here the first letter in a lowercase, right? So here let me run the program, and there we go. This is working as expected. Well, in real-time project we use add component annotation to tell Spring IOC container to automatically create the Spring Bean and manage the Spring Bean for a particular class. We don't have to create the object of that class manually using new keyword. Alright, so Spring IOC container takes care of creating and managing the objects of the class for us. Alright, and whenever we required the Spring Bean, then we can simply use add annotation to inject that Spring Bean, and we can use that Spring Bean. Well, we'll see how to use add annotation to inject the Spring Beans as a dependency in upcoming videos.